Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and this is the Old Review Omnibus, Volume 6. The theme of this Old Review Omnibus is reviews of movies that are based on comic books. And actually, 3 of these reviews haven't been online in a very long time, so this will not be like the last one, which was like mostly rough cut stuff. Only 1 rough cuts review, and then 3 old reviews that haven't been up for a while. The first one is going to be Dick Tracy. It's probably the strongest of these reviews, which is a rough cuts one, and maybe I'll re-review Dick Tracy. I know I say that, especially with the last one, but some of these I would like to do a better review of. After that is going to be a review of Iron Man 2, which I actually have re-reviewed, so I don't have to say that. I did that one in 2013 when Iron Man 3 was coming out, and there'll be a little card around here, or around here, one of them, that'll say Iron Man 2 review, and you can watch that. So I have redone that, and actually that one's been up longer than this one that's in here was ever up. And then after that is a review of KickAss, which I probably won't review, but it was at a time when I didn't like Matthew Vaughn as much as I do now, believe it or not. And then after that, closing out, is a review of the 2009 Astro Boy movie, and yes, Astro Boy is based on a manga, so it totally counts. These are very early reviews. You can see my cat Buster as a kitten towards the end of the Astro Boy review. You can see at the time I did not understand I should comb my hair before filming a review, and all sorts of stuff. I don't think a lot of these are that good, to be honest. Particularly the Kick-Ass review I think is pretty bad. And the last review doesn't actually have music in it, which is something I didn't do for a little bit. So you can kind of get a glimpse back at my 2009, 2010 past. I think one of these is 2009, 2 or 2010, one's 2011. So you get the early years of me doing reviews. 3 of them haven't been online in a very long time. Dick Tracy's, of course, up on the rough cuts, but the real purpose of making Old Review Omnibuses is to bring these back to my channel, and that's what I'm doing. It's new to you if you've never watched them anywhere else, I guess. But anyway, check these out. I hope you enjoy them, and you can watch me review a bunch of comic book movies. Hey, what's up? It's Tuesday. I'm Jim for the Rough Cuts, and today's film is Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy is the 1990 film, directed, starring, and I believe written by as well Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty kind of has an interesting film career because he really hasn't been in that many movies for someone who is considered such a big star. He had a big hit in Heaven Can Wait, and that was 12 years before this film, and then after that he made Reds and Ishtar. And Ishtar obviously didn't make any money, and Reds didn't make any money either. And so he hadn't really been a star and been in a hit movie in like 12 years. Although Reds had a lot of critical acclaim and won him an Oscar. So Dick Tracy was kind of a comeback film for Warren Beatty, both as a director and as a star. In the 70s they started working on it. They wanted Spielberg to do it. They wanted John Landis to do it. Walter Hill came pretty close to doing it with Warren Beatty. They wanted Clint Eastwood to play Dick Tracy at a certain point. Like, they asked everybody. The big thing with Dick Tracy is it's like a surface movie, you know. I like how it's shot all like the 1930s and 40s, like an old comic book, in the style and the certain colors they use. They're only using a palette of 7 colors, just like, you know, to invoke that comic book aesthetic. And it looks like amazing, and the matte paintings are beautiful, and the special effects are awesome, and sort of the action sequences, and it's a lot of fun. But unlike like Tim Burton's Batman, which has a lot of style to it, but you still have a character there, and you have somebody to relate to, and even like the first Spider-Man or any superhero, or Iron Man especially, you really need someone who's like a character. And in Dick Tracy, it's all surface, it's all special lights, it's all bright colors, but it's a lot of fun regardless of that. It still has a lot of good actors in it, like Dustin Hoffman and James Caan and Estelle Parsons. Kathy Bates did a small role. Beatty was fine. I don't think he's like that great. I read some older reviews and people were like, oh, he brings this fun performance. I was like, I guess. I don't really get that from this movie. I just think he does a good enough job as Dick Tracy, but I feel like a lot of the times if there's an explosion in back of him, he's like wincing because like, it's so loud. You know, he's not really the action hero type. As fun as Al Pacino is, and he got us a Best Supporting Actor nomination for this movie, which I just think is bizarre because, I mean, he is pretty good in this, but it's just like, why for this movie? He did have this boardroom scene with James Caan I thought was pretty funny. You have Dick Van Dyke, who plays the district attorney. All the characters, I think, they more stood out because of the people who were playing them, but less because they had any characteristics themselves, you know, and that's supposed to be something the comic book movies are supposed to exude, you know. Madonna's character, I mean, if you really went into that character is kind of mentally really screwed up. The fact that she kidnaps his girlfriend for a long period of time is a bit disturbing. They don't get into any of these characters psychologically. They're just kind of like, you know, they're like, oh, this person's been kidnapped, let's go get him. And it's reflective of what they're doing with the art direction and the cinematography. They're showing it as like these two-dimensional characters of a 30s or 40s comic strip. That doesn't make it the most relatable thing. It was definitely fun, and I liked it a lot as a kid, but now when I watch it, I'm like, this is just all style. It's such a weird movie when you consider the last movie Warren Beatty directed was Reds, which is about like communism, and is a very serious 3-hour Oscar-y picture that he, you know, spent way too much time on, and was like this big epic kind of movie, and then he makes this kind of, you know, big merchandise, super blockbuster Dick Tracy movie. You know, he was supposed to be kind of this edgier guy. He's the guy who brought in the, you know, Bonnie and Clyde really ushered in the 70s, and then you're in 1990, and now he's selling toys to your kids. You know, the guy who used to be, you know, the badass is now has all his merchandise cluttered around the Disney store. And it's weird because that didn't bother anybody, I guess, at all at the time. That before he was a gangster, he was robbing from the rich and all this stuff. But I guess, you know, he got older, he wants to fight for the law, he wants to be Dick Tracy. I think that says something not just about him, but that generation in general and them growing up. It kind of gets away with being an emotionally empty movie, but a very amazing, beautiful, emotionally empty movie. Thank you very much for watching Rough Cuff viewers. If you have seen Dick Tracy and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to my main channel if you haven't done that as well. And follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, and potentially VHX. And follow Earl Barrett Holloway's Tumblr. He does the picture at the beginning and end of this video, and that is it. I wish I had one of those like watch walkie-talkie things. Now they just don't seem as cool as they did in 1990. 1990 was like, wow, I still wonder how they did that, but now you're like, we have cell phones, so way to ruin that thing in Dick Tracy's cell phones. Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from seeing the new film, Iron Man 2, which is the big summer kickoff movie thingy, you know. I really liked Iron Man. It was really cool. It was really well establishing character with Tony Stark, and, you know, you felt like you really got everybody. I feel like this film is like the opposite, because there's too much stuff going on. I mean, I think in the first Iron Man, stuck with like a very small group of characters, but you meet them very well, and so by the end, you know, you're really rooting for them. That's something that was really missing in this film, is that there's just all these characters. I mean, this is a common problem with comic book movies. How many comic book movies are they just stuff? Too many heroes and villains because they think the fans want it and all that shit, and it just turns out to be an ass movie. This isn't that bad. I think it's still fun and stuff, but it's like getting close to, you're like, this is a silly sequel. It reminds me of Ghostbusters 2. When you're watching Rocky 4 and Apollo Creed, right? He's like boxing and there's like all these fireworks and there's like a robot in the movie, and you're like, what happened to that movie in the beginning? And that's what it really felt like. You take these small personal movies and then you like blow it out with like fireworks, and Tony Stark comes in to this big Stark Expo and there's all these people, and you're starting losing that like personal feel. As a comic book fan, I think it's a lot of fun, and I think if you like comics, you should see it. But if you don't, you're not gonna be as into it. I think it works, and it was a good thing, and it's a good, fun sequel. But it's like, you know, the overuse of pop music, it really annoyed me. And the pop music in this just felt like, hey, let's put this in, let's put that in, you know. Hey, I have a really good music license guy, let me tell you. Typical sequel bullshit, you know. I mean, look, Ghostbusters 2, more pop music. Does that necessarily make the film better? Not really. It just, to me, it makes it look cheaper that you had to sell out that space instead of giving someone a decent score. Robert Downey Jr. is good. I feel like he's always going to be good as Tony Tony Stark. It reminds me of kind of like an older movie star in a way. I mean, I know they're like also like trying to channel other sequels that were really good, like Wrath the Khan and stuff with Mickey Rourke. I didn't really get to meet Mickey Rourke that well. You know, I know Jeff Bridges wasn't in a lot that last time, but I just really didn't feel like I really got to meet him and be scared by him and stuff. It was just kind of fleeting moments, and that doesn't... I mean, I think this film really wanted to be like X-Men 2 in that it had like a million characters going on, and it was still like a good movie, and you still knew everybody, and it worked and everything. Another complaint I have about these Marvel films, and it bugged me about X-Men, and it's starting to bug me about Iron Man, for those people who've read the comics and all that stuff, not every comic was about Iron Man's stupid suit, and not every comic for X-Men was about like mutant powers and how like people are trying to steal them or take them away. Like, there's more to these comics than that. It kind of gets kind of bullshit stupid when you're just like always trying to do that. The fact that they did it again in the second one, it's just like kind of a tired cliche that started with X-Men. I think it's okay. I think it's a good summer movie, but is a good summer movie that great? Nah, you know, I don't know. Scarlett Johansson, like, is she ever enthused about anything? Is she permanently bored? Sam Jackson's Nick Fury did not... I mean, he's Sam Jackson, he's great, but it didn't live up to the hype of that last movie. And, you know, everyone's going to tell you to stick around for then. It's not that great. I mean, who really gives a shit about Thor? Cheadle, I guess, was a little better than Terrence Howard, but I thought a lot of his stuff was stupid. Gary Shandling was good. I like Sam Rockwell. Getty Tarkovsky did the storyboards, and you can really tell. So if you're a Tarkovsky fan, you might want to just see it, finally see something he did on the big screen. And I mean, except for did he do the Powerpuff Girls movie? I don't know. So if you've seen Iron Man, like, talk about your experience or what you know about Iron Man or whatever. Comment below in the comments, and subscribe if you would like to. So yeah. Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from seeing the new film KickAss. Basically, the first two acts I really liked. I don't think this movie is disturbingly violent. It seems some critics do, because of the little girl. I mean, it was like kind of a little bad, but it wasn't bad enough to make this much of a fuss over, really. I didn't mind the violence. It kind of reminded me of a trauma movie, to be honest. I thought that worked for it, but, you know, I don't think it's the best directed film. I don't think Matthew Vaughn or whatever. Like, Layer Cake was alright, you know. If there was a better director, I think this film could have been, like, really, really awesome. But because it was, like, him, it's like, it was alright, you know. And my biggest problem with this movie is the third act, because it almost feels like, well, we are a superhero movie, so we better make a third act. And you're like, no, we could have stopped here. I'm okay. Like, I didn't hate it. Just like, and then they go on for too long. You're like, oh, and you're basically talking about two films. This film is really influenced by The Dark Knight, and especially the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. They use the same color schemes. They use kind of the same cinematography, and even like the houses that he lives in looks exactly like Peter Parker's house in Queens, like the outside with the row homes and everything. So they clearly wanted to stick to kind of that thing. I mean, it's kind of parodying it. It's not Zucker Brothers crazy parody, but they're definitely parodying it. I think I liked McLovin. He was probably like my favorite person in the whole movie, just because like he's probably more so because he's playing a role that like he doesn't normally play, and it was. I mean, he kind of plays, but not. I don't know, I just like McLovin. I thought he was good in that role. Yeah, I think it's a really good, fun, stupid movie. Like, something like Hot Tub Time Machine is alright, kind of fun, but this is pretty good fun. Even though I complain about the third act, I still somewhat liked it. I just didn't, like, really like it as much as the first two acts. You know, it's fun. There's all the, you know, superheroes and all this stuff. I don't think it's that bad. I think, you know, you'll probably like it. It's like, kind of like when I saw Zombieland, I'm like, it's alright. Like Williker said,
I don't feel cheated.
It's not amazing. I'm not gonna... I know everyone's saying, like, amazing, amazing. I disagree. It feels like a comic book in a good way. The way Spider-Man 2 felt like a comic book, not as well. Not as well, whoa. Try not to get ahead of myself there. Not as good as Spider-Man 2. But that comic feel Spider-Man 2 has, this has a very good comic feel, which I think is, like, really good. So if you have seen KickAss, would like to talk about it, or your experience, or whatever the hell you want to talk about, I don't know, comment down there below, and subscribe if you would like to. That's about it. So. Oh, here's a spoiler part. Okay. There's this part at the end where he comes up on a jetpack. Listen, flying heroes, for anyone who's seen RoboCop 3, do not have your hero fly at the end with it. It just does not work. Ever work. It never works. Like, just don't do that. Like, it looks awful. It has never looked good. Jetpacks, you know what, that's the directing challenge. Somebody direct a good movie with jetpacks, I mean, with the exception of The Rocketeer. Hey, it's Jim, and I just saw the movie Astro Boy, and I don't know, it's a really fun kind of movie for 7-year-old boys, which I think was its intent. The studio who made it also made the Ninja Turtles movie that came out. I feel like this is an improvement from that, but I kind of like the studio, and they don't make, like, they're not the high art or anything that, like, Pixar puts out. Every film, the 2 films, I feel like they are good for what they are. And Astro Boy's intent is to be a fun movie for 7-year-olds, and I mean, when the lights came up, everyone who was a kid clapped and cheered. I mean, this is like a movie when you're a kid to, like, see an action sequence, you go, yeah! You know what I mean? And that's what it did, and Ninja Turtles, I think the voice acting lacking a little bit, personally, but I felt like they upped their game a little bit with Nicolas Cage, Bill Nighy, Donald Sutherland, Freddie Highmore, Veronica Mars, XOXO, and, Nathan Lane, sorry Nathan. I think that was cool. You know, I mean, it was a cool movie, and I basically, ever since I heard this studio was doing it, I was excited for a fun kind of kids movie that was just like, you know, it's like kind of thing when you're my age, you maybe go to the bar, get a couple beers with your friends who also like Astro Boy, and then go to it and expect a good time, and you'll be satisfied. On the other hand, and I understand this criticism, it is not, I mean, okay, there was the 60s Astro Boy, there was the 80s Astro Boy, there was the more recent Astro Boy. This is not the best Astro Boy thing ever. It is a great introduction, right? If you're already into Astro Boy, I don't know if you really will fall in love with this. It's not like a movie you're going to be like, oh, I need to get the DVD and like the 2-disc and all this shit. It's not going to be like that. Like, I want there to be an amazing Astro Boy film where everyone's like, oh my god, my life has been changed by Astro Boy, you know? And that would be nice, you know, because the original series was amazing and great and, like, come on, you know? It was butt guns, really? Really, you know? Yeah, I mean, I like the design, I like how this studio works, and I'm curious, I don't know what their next film is coming out, but I'm curious to see it. And, you know, I mean, I liked it better than 9, you know, and I like it better than most of the DreamWorks and Blue Sky stuff I saw. If you love animation, you own that receipt for the new Mario game already like me, you'll want to see Astro Boy. So if you have seen this film, or know about Astro Boy, or also don't really like med students, comment below, and subscribe if you would like to. That's about it, and I promise, I feel like there's been too many times, the end of these videos, I have something with my cats. And, you know, I've been doing it too many times, and this time, I'm not going to do it. It's Astro Cat! Astro Kitty! Sorry, Buster. So that was the Old Review Omnibus, Volume 6. I hope you'd enjoy those. I think the Buster thing at the end is kind of funny. The KickAss thing, I'm like kind of stumbling on that one. That was it. I hope you liked the music. I hope you liked it. I'll be back for another Old Review Omnibus, as I still have a ton of reviews that I took down that I'm now putting back up. So I hope you enjoy these. I know they're kind of a little weird and super long and stuff. But yeah, you got a glimpse of my old apartment. It was all my old apartment in that. Damn. A lot of these are all my old apartment. Anyway, I used to live somewhere else, believe it or not. I don't live here, but... So comment below if you'd like to comment about any of the reviews in the Old Review Omnibus or any of the movies I did review. Thank you very much for watching. Comment below in the comments, I think I said that. And subscribe if you would like to. See you on the next Old Review Omnibus.